grandfather was my angel, sent from God to be by my side and to speak words of encouragement into a young boy's life who needed to hear them at a time that really made a difference. I can honestly say I'm here today because of him. All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. Today, we're going to take a time out from what we normally do just to talk about gratitude. And what I want all of you to do that are here with me on Zoom, there's 54 of you right now, is I want you to think about someone who has had a major impact on your life that you are grateful for. Now, while you're thinking, and put your hand up if you're going to participate, while you're thinking, and by the way, if you're thinking, I've got the story that I want to share, but you're not sure if you want to put your hand up, just put your hand up, okay? Because I promise you're going to share something that's going to change somebody else's life. So mine is William Earl Dietz. That's my grandfather on my father's side. As a lot of you know, grew up poor, very poor. Four of us in a tiny 1,000 square foot house, no air conditioning in Florida. It was hot. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, which is fine. Also grew up in a very abusive home, verbally and physical. And I was a difficult child. My wife would probably tell you I'm still difficult 63 years later, but I was a very difficult child, and I had parents who were not prepared for that. And I'm giving them all the breaks that I can give them because I think they did their best. But I was told daily, wish you were never born, wish you would die, physically abused, just really, really bad. I'm not going to go deep into that. What I want to focus on is my grandfather. My grandfather was my angel, sent from God to be by my side and to speak words of encouragement into a young boy's life who needed to hear them at a time that really made a difference. I can honestly say I'm here today because of him. At some point in my teenage years, I had gotten to the point where I just basically figured that, life is a lottery ticket, and this is the lottery ticket I've been dealt. And if this is the hand that I've been dealt, if it doesn't get any better than this, then there's no reason to live, so I'll check out. It was my grandfather's voice that kept me from doing that. It was his constant telling me, Johnny, the things they don't like about you, the things that make them angry are the exact things that are going to cause you to be such a success in life. He would tell me, you're going to make a difference. You're going to change lives. 63 years later, he died in 1987, so add it up. I don't know how long ago that was. It was a long time ago, but 63 years later, I can still hear his voice. It's still him that is cheering for me in the stands. In his book, The Dream Giver, Bruce Wilkinson shares a story of dream bullies and dream champions. And he shares that whenever you have a goal in life, there are going to be those who don't like it, and you're going to run into dream bullies. And those dream bullies are going to tell you you can't do it. You're thinking too big. You should be more realistic. After all, that's crazy. What are you thinking about? But then there's those dream champions, and there's not a lot of dream champions. There's very few of them, okay? Think of it like you're at a football game and you're in the game, right? You're playing on the field. The stands are full. There's a couple thousand people there. And there's one dream champion. That dream champion is sitting in those stands, cheering you on, telling you, you can do this. You've got this. Find that dream champion. If you're going to listen to the voice of other people, find the one in the stands who is cheering for you and block everything else out. He was my dream champion, still is today. He's been gone for a long time, but he's still my dream champion, somebody that I am truly grateful for. So my gratitude to the one person who changed my life goes to my grandfather, William Earl Dietz. I want to hear your stories. Matt Kemps, talk to me.
Okay, so probably the primary one, if I'm picking one, it's going to be my father, Michael Kemps. To give you background, he started his company that he owns today when he was 15 years old. So he knew what he wanted to do at an early age. Surprise, surprise, he's in tech. Basically, he manages a company he owns a company that manages technology for law firms. And I got a lot of my exposure from my dad early on, where working for someone wasn't an option. Entrepreneurship was built in at an early age. And I credit my dad for a ton of that, of building that kind of mindset that I've always had. And then anytime that I want to have a new idea, as long as I commit to it, that's what the focus is. Everything takes at least a commitment of at least a year. We can't switch off of that at least for a year. We can always pivot, but the idea of the focus cannot change. It can only increase by having new ideas associated to the same topic. He instilled a lot of that into me at an early age. And then whenever I make big decisions, it's him that's going to kind of help me make that decision from there. So for example, a year and a month ago, I made the decision to move to eXp Realty, where then I had greater influences from a guy named John Dietz, a guy named Todd Bailey, a guy named Brian Copland, and an amazing woman named Elizabeth Riley. And all of them have made giant improvements in both my production, the quality of life, everything that goes about it, to where I was at a point where I was closing, like, it's not a bad year. Like, it's still closed 22 properties last year, but I'm going to close 87 homes this year. And it is just a game changer.
Wow. What a great story. Let's go, Shannon.
I didn't have a great childhood either. My dad is Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, so there's not a lot of love, even because he doesn't know how to show love through Asperger's. But I had a neighbor at our lake house by the name of Jim Lavender, and he stepped in a time when I was going through a lot in my childhood, not being loved at home the way I wanted to, and also being abused secretly that they didn't know about. And Jim didn't even know about it. But what Jim was doing for me was teaching me how to wakeboard, teaching me how to drive, teaching me how to skateboard. And he was my solid person in my life that I was able during that time to look forward to being with, and was there for me like a father should be. And so I was blessed to have somebody in that moment that I needed desperately, and he just happened to be that person, that steady force, and he was an amazing man.
Great story, Shannon. God bless Jim, and God bless you. Thank you for sharing that. Meagan Clark, let's go.
So about 2.5 years ago, I made a business decision and left my previous brokerage of 12 years and partnered with eXp, thanks to Brian Copland and Elizabeth Riley. Brian, who persistently kept in touch and kind of forced me, thank you, by the way, to go into Orlando for an event that really helped move the needle, made my decision to join. But what turned into a business decision has really just elevated my life and the circle of people who I'm now surrounded by. And you talk about dream champions, and several people on this call I get to be in rooms with, but Jacquelyn Foreman, she sent me a message just the other day, and we were constantly on the phone, but it just really resonated when you talk about dream champions and people who are cheering for you and who are lifting you up.
Thank you, Meagan Clark. Great story. Good job, Jacquelyn. I'm so proud of you. Let's go, Birgit.
I can't. All of that is just filling me so up. All you words are so beautiful. Thank you. And I'm so grateful. My list is long. Jason Justek, who also has been so wonderful of constantly staying in touch with me over the years. John, forever. Thank you so much for everything. And I'm so grateful for so many of you. So my journey is similar, like John's, and some of you guys. It was also not a great, happy childhood, lots of physical abuse, to a point where often in the gym I had to have notes because I couldn't get into any of my gym clothes. But, so that's what happened. But I was thinking, who am I really grateful for? And I can say I'm grateful for all the naysayers in my life, the dream robbers per se, right? And I'm going to put my dad, and I love my dad, but I'm going to put him on top of the list. So I was 18. I decided to come to United States, footloose and fancy free. I'm going to the States and I'm making things happen, whatever that was at 18. Come here to the States, fall completely on my face to the point, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I have no money. I can't eat. Jobs are not working out. I can't translate what I did in Germany over to the States and whatnot. And one day I had to call my dad and I said, Dad, I'm not going to make it here. I'm starving. I'm pretty much homeless. I was sleeping on park benches and things like that. And I'm not gonna cry, but and so it was really a dire time. And my dad said to me, he's like, I'm so sorry about that, but you made your bed and now you lie in it. Mm. And I was like, I looked at my dad. Now, I don't know if you guys have kids, whoever has kids, but I know I have kids. And I'm like, wow. And I didn't realize it then, but it was exactly that kind of thing that forged me. It's like I had to pick myself up, and I little by little had to keep fighting and keep rising, keep fighting, keep rising. And I wouldn't have had all these tremendous experiences that I've had that really shaped me and got me to where I am now if it wasn't my dad and for his words. He's passed about almost 3 years ago now, so I'm forever grateful to him. And we had a lot of fun when I was younger, whatnot, when we could have fun, things went crazy. But yeah, I honestly will never forget that moment of being so desolate, and those were his words to me, and so I'm grateful to him.
Good stuff, Birgit. Thank you for sharing that. Let's go, Kimberly.
I'm really grateful for my 13-year-old son, Jack. He's seen me go through a lot the past couple of years, but he continues to be just such a beautiful person and resilient, and so he really keeps me going. And I also think of my father as well. I lost him a couple years ago to cancer, but even during his treatment, he was just so beautiful and giving to people and not thinking about himself. And he had always just been a generous person anyway, and still had a sense of humor. And I think just seeing him go through something like that, and just he had so many people surrounding him with love. So it just kind of drove the point home to me how important it is to just pour yourself out to other people, be there, just give wherever you can, even if you don't have much financially, because that really is what matters the most. And I know what people remember him for. And I'm so grateful to so many people on this call, but also in this organization that have really poured out to me as well. A couple years, I was just focusing so much on loss, but then I decided to try to turn that around and look forward to the future and ask for help. And just the people that have, come into my life and lending a helping hand, and just, if you're really open to it and coachable, how many people kind of come out of the woodwork for you. So I'm just so grateful to all of you as well. So thank you.
Beautiful, Kimberly. Thank you so much for sharing that. Brian Copland, let's go.
So first of all, I want to give my gratitude to every one of you, because y'all show up every morning, and it pushes, I think, everybody collectively to be a lot better. I never had this group in my first 23 years in the business, and it's so different and so rewarding. So thank you to every one of you that show up every morning. And secondly, my parents were a very big influence in me. They always showed up, and I have 4 kids, and that's one thing that I try to really, really do is sacrifice other opportunities to show up to everything, coach everything, be there for my kids. But it started off when I was younger because I was able to set myself up with a lot of very good mentors, including my father and somebody else. And that created freedom. So whatever you want your life to look like in 10 years, you have to start today, right? It doesn't happen overnight. And so set your goal, set your plan, stick to it. Matt Kemps, I don't remember what you said, but it was, you got to commit to things for a year. That was really, really a powerful statement because so many people try things and they just quit, and I showed up. I had a very much like John, a very athlete mentality. And I try to, keep those influences in me today, even though I'm maybe a little bit less athletic.
Brian Copland, really, really good stuff, buddy. Aravind, talk to me.
Good morning. I'd like to say thanks to my teachers from kindergarten through my master's degree. What they taught me, the subjects, discipline and value, and make me confident in the life. And also grateful for my cricket coaches, teammates, colleagues, co-workers, everyone they taught every day something. I'm thankful to them. And coming to personal chapter in my life reminds me what is gratitude really means. During toughest times, my brother-in-law helped me move to Tampa, Florida. When my wife battling kidney disease, forever thankful to Tampa General Hospital and all other doctors who helped us in this time and make success my kidney donated to my wife, and she's doing so good. And if any one person, I can remember my mother. She lives in India and she is my backbone, and every time she encouraged her strength and her love keep me always motivating and move forward. And thank you for this team and Coach John and everyone. God bless you.
Amazing stuff, my friend. Thank you, Aravind. Jack Buchanan, let's go.
Yes, sir. So growing up, I was through a couple of multiple households, and I struggled to really find an outlet until I started wrestling in high school randomly. And I met a coach, and I really figured out that, I used to really quit when things got tough in life. But with him, whenever, it got hard during a match or something like that, I wanted to dig deeper because he was someone that inspired me. And that was my coach, Pinky. And I've really taken that to other aspects of my life. And I've just had people, connections I've built through that. And my really biggest blessing is the amount of people that want to see me succeed. And that was really the biggest thing for me, was meeting that coach, because then I'm just able to apply that in everything else I do.
Jack, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I am proud of you like a father is proud of their son. Young man, you are a blessing to all of us on this call. We're all extremely proud of you.
Thank you, sir. And then I'll say this too, it's what was big about finding that for me, not just an outlet, is when I did it, it was all I thought about. And when you find something, when you do it and it's all you think about, then it just becomes something that carries over. And for me, I always had a little brother who we were best friends, and he started doing it because of me, and he's now a Division I wrestler. So that was really the biggest win we got out of it.
So cool. All right, let's go, Matt Drechsel.
All right, so let's see if I can do this. I'm thankful for my wife. So let me start there. I was born a spirited child. Lost both my parents at a young age. Then I became a spirited, messy teenager. And, around 17, I met my now wife in high school. And she's talking through all that. And so then we went to separate ways for a while, a couple decades. found our way back to each other and got married. Yeah. We still see through those messy periods. Yeah. I couldn't do it without her.
Matt Drechsel, you are such an amazing human being. Love you, brother. Thank you for sharing that. Let's go, Cole.
All right, everybody, this is super encouraging and definitely a great way to head into Thanksgiving. I'm kind of seconding what Matthew said there. I mean, my wife, I met her 2016, probably the beginning of 2016, and she lost her dad like the end of 2016 or beginning. And so it was, I knew her for about a year before that. And then it was like a complete change to see her back almost 10 years ago now. She had such a good relationship with him and it was super unexpected and it just crushed her. And we went through the most tough times. But now I'm sitting here with this little guy here with his face covered in cream cheese. She's got another one on the way, and to see what she's done in her professional life, going from Publix to this other job, and now she's working in marketing, she never stops. And so she's gone through literally some of the hardest thing you could do is losing her person. All you guys are talking about, she lost them, and then now 10 years later, here we are with this beautiful house, and she has this little dog laying over here. So I'm super grateful for my wife to be able to pull herself up from there and be a long part of the journey and see. Now we're just starting. This is the new beginning now after 10 years later. So just pumped for her, to be able to stick through that, and it's encouraging to see it. And I'm excited for the future where we're going.
I love that, Cole. So awesome. We're at 9:28. I could do this all day long. And we have two more. Unfortunately, we're going to have to limit it to Joe and Jacquelyn. And if you have to jump because you have an appointment at 9:30, okay. But I'm going to stay here as long as you need Joe and as long as you need Jacquelyn. So don't rush because of what I just said. Please take your time. This is very important. All right, Joe Grant, let's go.
All right. Well, I'll actually keep it a little simple. Little words that people say kind of mean a lot. I almost walked away on an opportunity to meet Renee Rodriguez at an event, and it's the only time I've ever met Meagan in person. And she said, don't ever feel like you don't belong in a room. And I will never forget her because of that. That was so powerful. And it kind of takes me back because years ago, I lost a friend. And a couple days later, I decided I didn't want to get up and go to work that morning.
Yeah.
And Senior Chief Upchurch came by and knocked on my shoe and asked me, hey, you coming to work today? And I said, I don't feel like it. He's like, well, did you not get enough sleep? You woke up this morning, right? Yeah. What's going on? And I told him, I said, it just hit me that Tony's never going to go home again.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, if you need the day off, take the day off. But our job is keeping people alive. So get the hell up, put your boots on and get to work. And if you don't think you can, walk out this chew and go tell every single soldier on this base that their life doesn't matter to you. Yeah, that's when I was out in Iraq, and our job was to stop IEDs from blowing up. And the whole idea is you need to put everything in context. And my job was to keep people alive. Meagan's context was to make me feel like I should never undervalue myself. And you guys all make me feel valuable every single day. So when I wake up every morning, I start out by just saying thank you to the universe for another day alive and another day to make a difference.
So powerful. Wow. Joe, I've said it before, but thank you so much for your service. You're my hero. Thank you. Let's go, Jacquelyn.
Good morning. I had a teacher when I was like a junior in high school. It didn't look like I was going to finish school. And she told me, she looked right at me and she said, you're never going to amount to anything. You're going to be just like your brother. You come back here and you show me, you're just never going to amount to anything. It kind of stayed with me. And I quit school at that time, high school. I went on to work in bars and waiting tables and stuff. But when I think about the biggest trajectory of my life that changed, it always comes back to, what if I had not met my husband? Would I still be managing those bars on 6th Street and 4th Street? I think I might have very well stayed doing that. And he had a club on 6th Street. I was managing one on 4th Street in downtown Austin. And we decided he thought it would be a good idea for us to start our own nightclub. We didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, but we had a business plan, and we did. We opened our own nightclub together. Our daughter, we didn't realize this when we signed the lease, but I was pregnant with my daughter, so she was 2 months old when we opened this club. And I'd take her with me. I still was running another bar. I'd put her on a pool table. I'd breastfeed her as I was ordering Crown Royal and Jacks and stuff like that. And it was a pretty successful club. And then I got pregnant with River, and I was like, man, Daniel, I just can't run a nightclub with 2 babies. I mean, I did it with 1, but I just can't do it with 2. And he said, you've always been interested in real estate. Why don't you try that? That woman in my head kept coming back to me over and over, you're never going to amount to anything. And he just pushed me and believed in me in all these years when I didn't have any kind of real background in that area. So, I am so grateful and thankful for my family, starting with Daniel and my husband, and then my daughter, who made me want to be better and better. And then River, when I realized that I just couldn't do this anymore, that I needed something else. And then just the belief that Daniel had in me, and then the passion and drive I had to make something better out of myself, better than what my parents gave me to my kids. And I think I've given them a good life. So I'm just so grateful for them. The past couple of days, I think I've cried twice now on it. I miss my family. They're almost all dead, my true family, but I married into the most incredible family. I mean, my in-laws are just amazing. They give me a life that I didn't know people could have as a child. So I see my son. I love you, kid.
You're welcome for getting you out of that nightclub.
Thanks, Riv.
All right. That turned out so much better than I could have ever imagined. I appreciate every one of you. I hope this inspired you as much as it inspired me. The butterfly effect says that a butterfly can flap its wings on the coast of Africa and set into motion molecules that eventually become a hurricane on the eastern coast of the United States. We live in the butterfly effect, and you never know when you're having an impact on somebody's life that is going to change the world. And I'm not saying that to exaggerate. I literally mean what I just said. You're changing lives of children who haven't even been born yet with the things that you do daily. I'll never forget my friend Perry Campbell, who died from cancer in 2022. I met him when I was 15 years old, and because of him, I met Monica. I wouldn't be married to the most amazing woman today if it wasn't for Perry. Colin and Lacey wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Perry. And this is just somebody who lived his life to give to others. And I miss him every day. I still miss you, my friend, Perry. You changed my life. I'm grateful. You flapped your butterfly wings and you changed the world. What I would love for you guys to do is reach out to somebody today that you're grateful for and let them know you're grateful. You think they already know. They may, but you still need to reach out to them and let them know what a difference they've made in your life. All right, that's a wrap. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. See you Monday morning.
Happy Thanksgiving.
If you're committed to improving your real estate business, scan the QR code or send a message to schedule your session with Coach John.